Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. So this Shirley Strawberry information has gone straight off the deep end within the last couple of days, week, if you will, and it's really bad. It's really, really bad. So just recently, allegedly, Shirley Strawberry, which is a woman who was a co-host on the Steve Harvey Morning Show, was alleging that, her husband, Ernesto Williams, had been scamming her over the last, I want to say 6 years, if I'm not mistaken, that they've been married together. It is alleged that this man used her name, possibly even forged her signature, allegedly to do stuff like buy all kind of houses and cars and luxury items. Some of that money allegedly did not get paid back. It was even so bad that she had to return certain items that were purchased, like their car, if I'm not mistaken, allegedly was repossessed. She had to give back her wedding ring. It was all kind of crazy stuff. So right off the rip, it seems like her husband was a con man, if you will. It may have used her name and her credit to get all this stuff that he couldn't afford by himself. I hate to say this, but this is probably the reason why he married her to begin with. A lot of people were saying they felt like Shirley Strawberry just wanted to be with this man, be loved by this man, and have somebody and not be alone. And she let her love, whatever she felt for him, blind her judgment to all of the things that he was doing behind her back. Unfortunately, it didn't just stop with him being in trouble, like I said, for being a con man, essentially, allegedly, and fraud, allegedly. Apparently, he also got brought up on charges for some wild, crazy stuff. Allegedly, he got brought up on some charges, allegedly, basically falling under the lines of inappropriate acts with minors, if you will, and being in possession of explicit materials that concern minors, if you will. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I can't say it on here, can't say the word because of the algorithm. Now, y'all should know by now how Yoshi Entertainment feels about people who mess around with kids. Those are the worst kind of people. Raggedy, scum of the earth. But anyways, we'll get back to that later. Now, how did this information become public knowledge, you may ask? Well, I'm glad that you did. So apparently, somehow, the phone calls, because this man was arrested and he's in prison, well, jail, wherever you want to call it, right now. And there were some phone calls that were exchanged between him, his wife, Shirley Strawberry, and his alleged mistress. And there were some things that were said in those phone calls. I don't know why people keep acting like these phone calls aren't recorded. They are. And if somebody really wants them, there are ways people can get them. And also, just like the celebrities that we were talking about just a couple of videos ago on this channel, who keep writing letters to the judge on behalf of whoever it is that's in prison that they're trying to convince to knock a couple of years off of their sentence. Once again, I don't understand how they think or why they would think this stuff is not going to make its way to the internet, find its way to the blogs and the tabloids, because it always does. And there are also laws set in place that gives public access to some of this stuff that they think should and is private, and it's actually not. Like I said, somebody got a hold of those call logs and those phone calls, and now all of social media is privy to what they were talking about. Now, somewhere along the line, she had mentioned something about Steve Harvey's wife, Marjorie. Basically, she had said, whenever they come over to the house, she was talking about some kind of spa that she has. She doesn't like going over there even when Steve Harvey invites her, because she said, according to her, allegedly, that Marjorie likes to look at them like they're the help. Now, mind you, she said this in private, okay? Like I said, nothing's really private, especially when it makes its way to the internet. It's on there forever. But she said this in private, so I got to give her that there. Somehow, like I said, it made its way to the internet, and now it's not private anymore. Apparently, I guess Steve Harvey was offended. Technically, he is her boss and all that kind of stuff. And some people were saying she should have apologized because it wasn't right and it was disrespectful. And that's why I'm going to have to beg to defer. First of all, she didn't say anything that was actually that bad about the woman. If anything, really, he should have went to his wife and asked her, now, are you out here looking at our friends like the help, like you're uppity and snobby? Because if you are, you need to stop, because that's wrong. So he should have really took that up with his wife first, because she could have said a whole lot more stuff that would have really been rude and desiring of an apology. A lot of people did sympathize with her, and they said, listen, I'm extending grace and mercy because I've said some things about my boss behind closed doors that I wouldn't want people to hold me accountable for. But she said it in private, like I said. Now that's kind of been thrown out the window because it's not private anymore, it's public. Like I said, some people are still extending grace and mercy and saying she had the right to feel how she felt. She was entitled to that opinion, especially if it was the truth, although she still apologized. Steve Harvey gave her some space on the show to, kind of get out how she felt and talk about all what she's going through, to express her emotions and talk about how she's dealing with all of what she's been going through, how she felt like her husband made her look like a fool and all this kind of stuff, and how she didn't want her problems to reflect badly back on Steve Harvey because, they just got done going through these allegations, these cheating allegations. She was saying she didn't want to add more on top of that. She felt like she did that by saying what she said and having that all leaked to the internet and whatnot. Y'all know I'm not crazy about Steve Harvey, but I do think that it was nice for him to allow her to speak her piece on the show so she can clear the air. I don't feel like I said, she really owed Marjorie an apology for that, considering the fact that, like I said, again, she really didn't say anything that disrespectful, and it was said originally in private. But she apologized. I mean, she went out of her way to make sure that they knew that she was very sorry. At the end of the day, some people were saying that's what she had to do anyways, because again, technically Steve Harvey is her boss, and at any point in time, he could have been like, well, you know what, Shirley, I don't want you here no more because of what you said about my wife. So she did what she had to do, or what she felt like she had to do at the end of the day. But like I said before, there are a whole lot of charges that were stacking against him, and people have been pointing out that this woman had kind of made a living, if you will, off of this show, telling people relationship advice and all that kind of stuff. Now, some people, this ain't what I said, this is what other people said on the internet, that she didn't really help like that much, and I felt the same way about Steve Harvey and his, and I quote, advice sometimes. And some people were making a joke, I didn't think it was, nice of them to do this, but they were making a joke talking about, oh, this time, Shirley, you are the strawberry letter, because her whole life was now being laid out, relationship, all of what was going wrong. And now clearly she's the one who needs relationship advice, which is once again why I say don't be so quick to take some relationship advice from a lot of these people out here on the internet, that includes Steve Harvey, because some of them have raggedy relationships themselves that they need to work on. Speaking of raggedy relationships that people need to work on themselves, I told you I was going to come back to those charges, and I'm working my way up to them once again. Now, I mentioned that I felt like Shirley Strawberry was one of those women. Unfortunately, this happens a lot, let's just be honest, in the Black community. Okay, you get to a certain age, or you just get tired of being single. Like, there's nothing wrong with, desiring a relationship, wanting to be with somebody, wanting commitment, wanting partnership. But for you to allow that desire to turn into a craving to the point where you will do anything, like I said, let your judgment be clouded, throw everybody else under the bus, refuse to see the red flags, even if they might be subtle, all so that you can just be happy, be in ignorant bliss with this person. That is absolutely unacceptable, because all kinds of stuff can be going on behind your back or right under your nose for all you know. And it's just happening. You're not saying anything, you're not doing anything to stop it or to acknowledge it. And then that also makes you look complicit. Like, nobody cares about, oh, well, I didn't know or I didn't see it, even though it was low-key happening right in front of you. Or there were subtle, like I said, little red flags that you chose not to see, especially when bad things are happening around you and to other people. And the reason why I brought that specifically up is because of the allegations concerning him, like I mentioned before, and the, child explicit content, if you will, and inappropriate actions with children. Those were some of the alleged charges he was brought up on, and they have to do with and are concerning her grandchild, her daughter's child. Now, in one of those phone calls that she made to the slammer, if you will, after Ernest got locked up, she had mentioned to him that her daughter went down to the police station because I believe the police gave her a call, or her name was in some documents concerning all this mess that they got going on in these charges. Now, he was like, oh my God, what? And it was really annoying, not just to me, but everybody else who had heard and commented on the phone call. Him just saying, wow, that's crazy, what? Making him look real suspicious, if you ask me, because he never once denied anything. But she was telling him, she went down there and she made her daughter look real stupid. I'm gonna just be real honest. It really, really bugged me a lot, because she was making it seem like, oh, well, she didn't know what she was doing. They just tricked her into going down there. And a lot of people were saying, no, ma'am, I think if she went down there, she had a good reason to go down there. She didn't just go down there to slight him, but that's what she was trying to make it seem like, oh, I think she's just doing this because she's just mad at you. And he fed into that by saying some mess like, oh yeah, she just hates me so much. Can you really just hate me that much? Or at least I wasn't one of those fathers that like drank and smoked and beat her up and kicked her out of the house. And I'm just like, but why would you even say something like that? Why would you even say that? But anyways, the fact that they even brought him up on those kind of charges must mean that they have some kind of evidence. I could be wrong, But they've got to have something that would lead them to believe this. All of this, of course, is allegedly, although some people were giving Shirley the side eye because they were saying that this situation is really giving a mother whose daughter is trying to tell her that the boyfriend slash husband, who is the stepfather, whatever you want to call him, is having some inappropriate dealings with her and the kids, and mother refuses to listen to daughter because she's so caught up with or in the boyfriend, stepfather, whoever. Also, during that same call, if I remember correctly, she had briefly mentioned that her daughter was keeping her grandchildren away from her or not allowing her to see her for whatever reason. And it leads me to believe, like I said before, if those charges have any weight to them, allegedly, if they do, then there's no question as to why that girl does not want her or him anywhere near those kids. Again, she's so caught up in this man thinking he can do no wrong. Even low-key kind of threw her daughter under the bus for the dude. Why would she want her children anywhere around him? If her own daughter couldn't get through to her, then she's really no better than Ernesto, if you think about it. That's what I mean by at some point in time where you're so caught up and your judgment has been so clouded, whether it was willingly or unwillingly. If you're refusing to see what's in front of you, you become complicit. I wanted to feel a certain kind of way for Shirley Strawberry. I wanted to feel bad for her and empathetic because, yes, she messed up. She got with the wrong person. She trusted the wrong person with her heart, with her money, with her credit score, and it came back to bite her, which is his fault because he was the one who stabbed her in the back and betrayed her, allegedly. But at the same time, I can't be here for somebody that's going to, like I said, turn a blind eye all to what somebody is doing because they're so in love with somebody. Love should not make you blind, okay? I don't care how much you love somebody. If they're doing something that's not right, or you see no wrong in what they're doing, and you're throwing everybody else under the bus, like I said, for them, you've gone wrong. You've gone all the way off the deep end. Just like she gave Marjorie that apology and Steve Harvey on the morning show, she needs to give her daughter and them kids an apology. And y'all can miss me with the, oh, well, maybe she did. Y'all feel entitled to hear what people have to say. Nah. If she could publicly apologize to somebody she didn't even do anything wrong to, grovel essentially, because that's really what she was doing. If we are really going to be honest and adults about this at their feet, then she can apologize publicly. Yes, she sure can fix her mouth to her daughter, who she really threw under the bus in this scenario. Allegedly, and then allegedly. And the sad part is, while them leaking the phone calls was, messed up for them, a field day for people who are going to make videos about it. Also, it was actually good for her too because she was able to hear the secret phone calls that he was having with his alleged mistress. I mean, dirty phone calls talking about, yeah, whenever you get hot, just pat that thing for me. I was disgusted and sickened. Like I said, she still needed to hear it so she can see who she was dealing with. So the clouds, the scales, whatever that was on her eyes could finally fall off. It's just sad that it took that much for it to happen. Not the fact that she was actually doing just fine before she got involved with him. And then all of a sudden her life started to fall apart. Her credit got jacked up. Money was funny and crazy after she married him. Not the fact that her daughter started to put distance between the two of them and they start to fall off with each other and fall out with each other. Nope. It wasn't until after he'd screwed her over, ended up in the slammer, tried to ruin her relationships with everybody, ruin her reputation for that matter, ruin her life and broke her heart that she finally realized what was going on. Better late than never, I guess, right? But anyways, I'm not here to say or make it seem like there are no trustworthy people in the world. I'm just saying, be mindful, okay? Have sound judgment and discernment. And what really bothers me, like I said, also I heard in those phone calls, the two of them exchanging Bible scriptures. When the two of them aren't as saved as the day is long, that is utterly ridiculous. I can't stand it when people use the Bible and God, and they're not nowhere near where they should be in that aspect of their spiritual life to be even using those scriptures. Those scriptures don't even apply to them because they're raggedy and they're living raggedy lives. And another thing I might add that was just annoying to me was what Steve Harvey said whenever he was, allowing Shirley Strawberry to have her piece, if you will, on the morning show about black bloggers. The reason why he said what he said, if we're going to be honest, is because he knows that black bloggers are not stupid, okay? They're not going to eat the wolf cookies that people like him try to give to people and feed to people on the internet. They know who's full of crap and who's full of crap. But anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think and how y'all feel down in the comments below respectfully. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Y'all have a blessed day.